right here with Mr. Evan Golden. Mr. Evan Golden, we're going to start a little bit over and try to get back to where we were. It dropped you out in question number 2, which Casey Kazana also stated you wouldn't be able to beat him fair and square in that ring after you instituted the afterburner. 1, 2, 3. It was just an afterthought to him. Tell us who all the afterburner has purified and who you got the 1, 2, 3 over.
The afterburner is basically a lethal weapon that I use on every individual I work at a ring with. As soon as the afterburners hit, it's over. Matter of fact, nobody's ever kicked out of the afterburner. Now, there's rumor on the street that Casey Kazana has footage that he's kicked out of the afterburner, but I would love for him to find that, and I'd love for him to show that off. Matter of fact, Casey, why don't you take that footage that you've easily doctored and put it on the show? Because I don't think that that's true. In fact, I don't believe a word that you've ever said to me in this whole friendship that I thought that we had. And you know what, Rabbit? I don't know if you can see through the screen, but I've got a knife wound this big in my back because my dad was right. You can't trust a Kazana. And KC, acting like you don't fear the afterburner, it's just another one of your cocky motives. You know that as soon as the afterburner is hit, you stand no chance and it's over. 1, 2, 3. So you know what, KC? The fact that you've done this whole scheme to stab me in the back, to screw me over, to screw over Michael Gabriel, just because you want one of these, the East Tennessee title. That's what this has all been about. You've been screwing me over because you want this. You know what, Casey? If you were a real man, you would have told me from the start that this is what you wanted. Just like you tried to do when you wanted my hybrid title, and guess what? You couldn't get that either. So you know what, Casey? This is just a brilliant scheme of yours, but I'm sorry to tell you, it's not going to work out, because as soon as I hit those ropes and I grip your neck and I flip over you and twist that neck in half and hit the afterburner like no other, you won't be kicking out. And guess who's going to be walking out with the East Tennessee title over his shoulder again? Me. And Rabbit, I'll bring it right back on the show to show it off, to show you that I still have it and that he just couldn't do it.
Well, I mean, it's really easy to say that, but Casey was bringing up the point that you cheated. I don't know if you were watching, but Casey had the gall to say the only way the Golden would ever beat him was by cheating, specifically by holding the tights. What are your thoughts on this, sir?
A day in my life. And you know what? If KC wants to pull up the footage, I'm sure he's got it, because I'm sure he used masterclass editing to make sure that these new 2024 visual effects were in full use. I know that KC spends his time on his computer clicking and clacking, trying to make sure the footage is doctored. KC, pull up the footage. You will find nothing of Evan Golden pulling your tights. There's no footage. There's nothing that would insinuate that I've ever cheated. In fact, Rabbit, I think right now I want to announce on your show that I, Evan Golden, have never cheated a day in my life. Nor would I ever, because I love the good people of SOM Live, and I would never cheat in front of them. I love them.
Well, it seems your rivalry with Casey Kazana is going to get white hot. Will you accept the challenge that he laid out on our show before you? And if so, when and where can the fans see that match?
I'll accept the challenge. And KC Kazana, I want you to know, and I'm going to say this one last time, you can take as many mountains as you want. You can go around these long, long tracks to get to this. But guess what? It's never gonna be around your shoulder. I've said it here, and I'm gonna say it one last time. I will hit you with the afterburner. You will be in the hospital, and you will not have this over your shoulder. End of discussion. And you know what, Rabbit? You know, on September 29th, what would be the greatest birthday gift for the golden child, Evan Golden? The day that I was born. Evan Golden Day. I would love to raise this title high on my big day at SOM's return event, Overdrive. And KC, once I wipe the floor with you, and once you're spazzing on the mat because you just couldn't take it, you will realize that you've been playing with fire. And you know what? Michael Gabriel, he may have quit SOM, but I hope he watches that match in spirit. I hope he watches this match from home and thinks to himself, Evan Golden is the success and bestest friend I could have ever had. Because I want everybody on September 29th to sit back and realize the truth. And the truth is there. The Goldens are better than the Kazanas. I've been saying this for a year, and I'm probably going to say it for the rest of my life. We are better professional wrestlers, and that's why I'm still going to be champion.
I know you got hot over that wannabe cowboy, but let's change directions for a moment. Let's talk about your win over Amp Dominic at the Greene County Fair. Now, the master of the Milky Way has said, and I quote, "To beat me again, you'll need an army." What are your thoughts on this?
Well, obviously, Amp Dominic couldn't handle the army. In fact, I'm the one who got Eddie Golden, my great legendary father, to get off the couch and show up to SOM for the first time. And I don't know if you've seen the footage, Rabbit, but Eddie Golden came out, and Amp Dominic had the nerve to put his hands on my father, one of the most historic professional wrestlers in professional wrestling history. NWA Wildside star, former NWA Wildside television champion, the Eddie Golden, the greatest old man I could have ever asked for, showed up to cheer me on, and Amp Dominic, in the middle of this match, decided to put his hands on him. Amp Dominic, you know what? You've got a lot of nerve after laying your hands on my family. To say that you want this back, to say that you want to go at it again, Amp Dominic, I'll tell you what I just told this simpleton KC. You don't stand a chance. And you might need to really realize that you're making a huge mistake here, my friend, because I've already brought the army to the table. Do I need to bring Eddie Golden off the recliner again? Do I need to bring him back to SOM to whip you back into shape? Because I think that's exactly what you're going to be asking for. I'll get Bunkhouse Buck out of retirement to whip you into shape. Don't make me do it.
I think you brought up something great here, especially talking about the real Golden, Eddie Golden here. I believe that he's booked somewhere, isn't he? Yeah. Coming up?
Yes, that's right. Jimmy Golden, he's off the couch. He's back. He's ready for action. And he's ready to set people straight. Amp Dominic, do you understand exactly who you're messing with here? You're making a huge mistake. Jimmy Golden could show up anytime. My father, one of the greatest wrestlers in the history of this business, could show up at any time, and he has.
So better than any Kazana any day of the week, right, sir?
My entire wrestling family could take the Kazanas on and destroy them in 2 seconds. That's all I'm going to say about that. I would love to see that, and it could happen. And one day I think it should, just so we could prove the point and settle the case here. But you know what? I'm sure, if you're a Kazana, you're too scared of the thought of that taking place. I'm sure they'll, have pee running down their legs, and I'm sure that won't be happening. So I'm sorry to say that match may not see the light of day just because one party wouldn't want to cooperate, if you know what I'm talking about.
Well, we're going to change directions just for a minute. We're going to talk about the industry. So are you worried about, let's say, one godfather of the industry, Sean Cruz? He has made mention that either you will kiss his hand or kiss the canvas, but he seems to be demanding a shot at that title as well. What are your thoughts, sir?
Well, the only thing I kiss is this beautiful East Tennessee championship, and that's all I'm going to do. It's what I'm going to do on my free time. It's going to do what I'm going to be doing at the shows. It's what I'm going to be doing right after I get off this podcast. It's what I'm going to be doing tonight in bed. This East Tennessee championship is my life. It's everything I've ever worked for in professional wrestling. I came to East Tennessee, and I'm the one who took it by storm. My family ruled East Tennessee for over 50 years. Jimmy Golden held this title for a very long time when I was only 5 years old. And now I'm here. This is my title. Sean Cruz, who do you think you're talking to? Who do you think? Why do you think I need to kiss your hand? You need to be kissing my hand. I'm wrestling royalty. I don't care. What are you, a mob boss? Were you gonna put a hit on me, Sean? I don't care. I could care less about this. If you want a shot at this, get in line. Get behind your little pal, KC Kazana. Because I'm hearing word on the street is you guys are good friends. Why don't you get in line, Sean? You know what? You have a lot of nerve poking wrestling royalty like this. And Sean Cruz, I have the utmost respect for what you've done in this business. You've been in this for a very long time. You're a veteran, and I respect that. But you're just another future victim of the Afterburner. And I'm sorry to say it, but You really need to think before you speak, Sean. And KC, you too. What? Let me guess. Does Sean Cruz have footage of me cheating too? Is that what he's got?
I don't know. I didn't ask him. I didn't have the chance to ask him. I wasn't on the phone long enough with him to find out. But I'll let you know like this. We have a fan that's asking some questions inside the chat box. Miss Cassara Croft has come in and said, have y'all ever tag team together, father and son, like the Kazana brothers?
We have, and we plan on doing it again. I tagged with my dad one time in 2022, and it's actually the most recent match that he's had. He doesn't really tend to get out of the house too often for anything that's not worth it to him. And the reason I say that is there's nobody strong enough to step up that's worth it for him to, tie the boots up one more time. I would say that if we were to come back and have a full tag run, it would have to be something very worth it to us. But like I said, he's more than welcome to come out of the house to help me out, cheer me on at ringside. That's exactly what he did at the Amp Dominic
So you're
match.
saying Sean Cruz and Amp Dominic aren't enough for him to come out of retirement?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
I think if they push him far enough and hard enough with his baby boy, he'll do anything to get a piece of them.
I'm going to say this right now. Sean Cruz, if you lay a hand on me, I will call my father, and he will show up. There may not be a match, but he's my dad. I can call him. Sean Cruz, you know what? I don't know what mafia you run. I don't know what family you operate, but if you even lay so much as a finger on this and on me, I will call my dad, Sean. Do you want me to do that? I will call my father. And I really wouldn't want to have to do that. And you know what? Speaking of a tag match, I think if that happened, it would be easy work, easy business. Sean Cruz and my dad are both veterans in this business, but I think that Sean knows that he's asking for too much. All right. But you know what, Sean? If you keep up this bad attitude, you're going to rile us both up. And I don't really appreciate that you're even talking about this. The thought of this being around your waist shouldn't even be on your mind. All right, so why don't you focus on your family? Why don't you put some hits on people and keep focused on other things, like things that you actually could obtain, not the East Tennessee title?
Kurt Kazana, or Casey Kazana, rather, has come into the chat box. First, he said, shut up, Evan. And he said, how's that SPCW Junior Heavyweight Champion title run going?
You shut your mouth! Look, I'll tell you one thing. That's another example of KC coming in here and bragging about how he's put knife wounds in my back. Shut up, KC. You know what? Why am I the bad guy? Why am I the bad guy here? Oh, I'm the one pulling tights? He stole my title. It's the historic La Follette screw job, and nobody wants to talk about it.
See, he made mention of that. He said that you were going to call it the La Follette screw job, and he was absolutely right. You just did. Can you tell us about how that La Follette screw job took place?
Well, it's very simple, Rabbit. A screw job is when there's a conspiracy, and I was the reigning SPCW Junior Heavyweight Champion. I'm probably the greatest champion they've ever had, because I actually put it on the line against these Neanderthals. I eventually was going to paint the title gold and stop putting it on the line because the competition at SPCW was very slim. The Junior Heavyweight division is more like the Super Heavyweight division, because I'm the only one who's got a jacked body around there. But let me tell you what. I put my title on the line against KC Kazana because he swore it was a friendly competition. He swore that he would never screw me over. I kick out at 2.5, and KC Kazana has my title in his hand with his best pal, the referee, who I'm sure is related to Sean Cruz, by the way. And they literally celebrated together like it wasn't my title. KC, I'm not the bad guy when you're putting daggers in my back. All right? And look, I'm just going to say this. I've never felt more disrespected than that night because it was a conspiracy. I was screwed over. I was thrown on the back burner so KC could get what he wants. And I hope you and that referee pal of yours had a great steakhouse dinner that night, pal. Because guess what? I'm still East Tennessee Heavyweight Champion, and you're not. So, sorry about it.
Well, he said a lot while you were talking. The first thing was, oh, that's right, it's mine. Then he said, Evan is all bark and no bite. Then he said, I can read Evan like a book. Then he said right underneath it, I like to lie sometimes. So he just admitted that he likes to lie right here in the live stream. And then he said, all a part of a plan, pal. Hold on to that East Tennessee title close because that'll be mine one day, is what he said.
Well, you heard it here, folks. KC Kazana is a no good backstabber. And guess what, KC? I don't care that we're not friends anymore because I never trusted you as far as I could throw you. And you know what else, KC? You have got a lot of nerve coming in here and basically telling the world that you're a backstabber. So why don't you and your new pals, ICT and Sean Cruz, why don't you guys go out and have a great steakhouse dinner together? Why don't you guys go have a great time? Why don't you tour the country together? Because guess what? That's all you're going to have time to do because you're not going to be able to defend this because you're not champion, nor will you ever be. And you know what? I don't want to have to pull this card out again. KC Kazana, how am I no bite? When I hit you with the afterburner, you're not even going to be able to move. It's over. 1, 2, 3. Nobody's ever kicked out of the afterburner, and nobody ever will.
Sarah Croft came back and said a couple things. She said, I think if y'all do a tag team, it would be a great show and y'all would dominate the Kazanas. That was the first thing she said. And then a little bit farther down, she said, the Golden will keep the title. I guarantee it. So you've got some people watching you that are definitely out here looking to make sure that you hold on to that title. How do you plan on doing it against KC Kazana?
KC Kazana, when you least expect it, you're going to get a boot to the gut. You're not going to be able to breathe because I'm going to kick you right in the diaphragm. I'm sure you don't know what that is. It's basic anatomy, but you're going to go, and then I'm going to hit the ropes. I'm going to grip your neck, and then I'm going to twist it, and I'm going to somersault over you to where you land right on the top of your shoulder, and it might pop out of its socket. And then I'm going to fly over you. I'm going to lift your leg, and I might see some pee roll down it because this is going to be brutal for you. And then I'm going to pin you 1, 2, 3. And I hate to spoil the show. Again, this is Overdrive. On Evan Golden Day, September 29th, this is my birthday, is the day that I graced the planet. Not only is that the day that I showed up and made this world better, I'm going to remain East Tennessee champ. And that's exactly how it's going to happen. So when you're watching Overdrive, September 29th, watch the Afterburner. Because that'll be it, 1, 2, 3. And about what Miss Croft said, it's very simple. It's a match, the Goldens versus the Kazanas, that nobody ever thought they would see. Unfortunately, since the Kazanas have no backbone, and since they have no nerve, and since they're soft, you probably won't ever see the match. And they'll make some great excuse up about it. Oh, they just didn't have time. Oh, they just weren't prepared for it. Well, guess what? Nobody's getting younger. And I think I would love to see my father, the greatest professional wrestler of all time, Eddie Golden, slap around Joe Kazana right before my eyes while I stand on the apron and laugh about it. And it could happen anywhere, anytime. But you know what? We're game, but are they?
That's a great question. While you were talking, KC Kazana came in and said a couple things. First, he said, I am the #1 contender for that title. Then he said, never said Sean Cruz was my pal. He's weird. I want to warn you, KC, you got to watch what you say about the godfather of the industry. You either kiss his hand or you're going to end up kissing the canvas. And he might be a man that you might want in your corner, especially if the Goldens come full force after the Kazanas. What do you have to say, sir?
Well, he's going to need the mob to protect him from the Afterburner. This is a classic KC Kazana move. He needs the mafia to protect him from Evan Golden. That's horrible for you, KC. You know what? Why don't, instead of you kissing Sean Cruz's hand, you be a good friend for once in your life? How about that, huh? All I ever wanted to do was be pals, pal. And all you've done is stab me in the back. But I don't care. It doesn't upset me at all. I'm not bothered.
Casey kind of hit something personal here. He says, get on an NWA schedule, pal, and you'll stay busy. What do you have to say to that, sir?
Well, I mean, that's exactly what I just told you he would do. He would use the NWA schedule to thus make an excuse to not make the match happen.
That's right.
If he was a real man, he would make the match happen on the territories where it belongs, but he won't want to do it because it's just, he's just too busy, and he just can't, he's got to make excuses all the time because he doesn't want to get whipped by the Goldens.
He said, I don't need a mob. I got a clothesline from hell. That's all I need.
Oh, You know what? I've eaten this clothesline from hell. Look, it didn't bother me none. Look, my neck is fine. Sure, I had to have a brace on it for like a week, but that's fine. What's something I can't handle a brace for a week? He's not even gonna be able to hit it at overdrive. And you know what, Casey? I know you're gonna go for it. I'll just duck it. How about that?
Wow.
Yeah.
Sarah Croft came in and said they might need to borrow your tag partner's Book of Gabriel in order to win against you. Do you have any comments on that, sir?
Well, speaking of the NWA, Michael Gabriel and myself, Casey, stay out of this. This is my business. Michael Gabriel and myself are going to be gracing another National Wrestling Alliance territory this Thursday. And like I said, maybe we'll pull this out of our bag. I don't know if they're ready for it or not. But Michael Gabriel is a real friend, and I love him, and he's one of the bestest friends that I've ever had. You know what else? I don't think Michael Gabriel would ever put a dagger in my back the way my old pal Casey did. So, Michael Gabriel, he's currently quit SOM. He left. You know what? And before he left, he actually made a huge mistake on hurting me. But he was just joking around. He didn't mean that. I'm sure he's going to come back to SOM. He's going to give me a hug, and he's going to be my friend. He was just in a bad mood that day.
Well, it seems you're not gaining a whole lot of friends at the School of Morton, but making a ton of enemies in your stint with them. Call me crazy, but it seems as if even Bronson Garrett seems to be having some second thoughts about this unholy alliance he's made with you. What are your thoughts on that?
Are you telling me right now, live on air, that my political partner, Bronson Garrett, my friend, is wanting this?
I believe so, sir. I believe that he's got a little bit of jealousy in his heart for that. And he's kind of made it mention. Think about this. He got in that Royal Rumble with none other than the Crooked Cowboy. And what happened, sir? I mean, you tell me what happened. He eliminated himself just so that he could supposedly show his friendship towards you. But you could tell by the look of disgust on his face that he was setting something up, sir. What are your thoughts on that?
Bronson Garrett, just when I think that I can trust someone, just when I think that I could wrap my arms around you and give you a hug, a good old friendly hug, what do they do, Rabbit? What do all these people have in common? They claim they love Evan Golden. They get jealous of Evan Golden. When I'm giving them a hug, they pull out a knife and they stab it in my spine. And I'm sick of it. Bronson Garrett, I'm going to tell you exactly what I just told Sean Cruz. You need to get in line. Because sure, after Overdrive, I'm sure I will still be the reigning East Tennessee champion. But you know what? That doesn't mean you can just get what you want when you ask for it. The only one around here who gets what he wants when he asks for it is me. Because I'm wrestling royalty, and you're not, Bronson. You're not Sean Cruz. I don't care what family you operate. You aren't wrestling royalty. I'll give it to KC. At least he is. But you know what else? He's a backstabber too. So you three, Amp Dominic, what is that, four? Four people want to stab me in the back. I can't even look in the mirror without these shadows wishing that they were Evan Golden. It makes me sick. I can't even look at them.
Casey Kazana came in and says, do we need to see the tape from School of Morton? Followed by Michael Gabriel came in to the chat and he said, Casey is too busy walking down the streets. I would never touch a hair on Evan's head. I leave that to him. Then followed by Casey saying, maybe Evan can trust Christian Lee? Come on now. That's a bit of a stretch, don't you think?
What's his name again?
Christian Lee. Yeah.
Who's that? I don't know who that is. It's
Christian?
Hot shot? Does he want my title too? Christian, what's his name? Christian Lee?
Christian Lee. Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you, I know that one thing that all my enemies have in common, at least they're fantastic professional wrestlers, but I don't know anything about Christian Lee. Is he a passenger? I don't know who that is.
Casey says, don't lie to him. They're all best pals, is what he's come back and said.
These are false accusations. I know no Christian Lee, and he's not my friend, and I don't know who that is. I don't associate myself with him. Not that I know who he is. Can we change the subject by chance?
Well, absolutely, a little bit we can, but I want to get it from you. So SPCW on the 7th has a mystery guest facing Connor Martin. We have to ask you, sir, is it you? Are you going to be the one challenging the Raider of the Wasteland, Connor Martin?
Well, I can tell you that I do, in fact, have a very busy schedule. I've been defending the East Tennessee title all over the place. I've taken this title to Virginia, West Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina. We might be taking it to Georgia soon. I have had offers to take it to Texas. This is the East Tennessee Championship, and I've made it nationwide. But you know what? It would mean everything for me to get back on the board at SPCW. Am I the mystery opponent? I really can't say, but I would say if you buy a ticket to this show, you won't be disappointed.
Fair enough, sir. I'll give you that one. I'll definitely give you that one. And a one for the road. Now, for the guys that missed it earlier, the guys and girls that have come in and missed it earlier, we're going to go back to the live screen, and I'm going to show them what you were talking about earlier for August 31st. RT3 versus none other than the Golden Child, Evan Golden. Here it comes right here. Boom, right there, guys. It's going to be taking place at none other than the Beside the Ring Championship Wrestling, August 31st. Evan, talk a little bit about it. Let's find out what's going on. It's 0-0 with the score. The first time you two are ever meeting in the ring. Let's figure out who's going to be the best one. I believe it's going to be a Golden.
Well, I think it's obvious. Look, this Saturday, Mountain City, Tennessee, which, by the way, I feel very disappointed that I even have to lay my tires into. I hate Mountain City. Mountain City, I hate your guts. I don't ever want to look at you. I don't want to look like you. I don't want to smell like you. But Evan Golden is going to be gracing your shite town to become the inaugural Beside the Ring Wrestling Champion, RT3. I have nothing but respect for you. And I know what you've contributed to this business, and I know that you're very, very talented. But you, my friend, are just another victim of the afterburner. Matter of fact, I think that RT3 is a fake, a fraud, and he's playing Mr. Nice Guy, but I don't trust him as far as I could throw him. This Saturday, I'm going to show Mountain City that not only is RT3 a whiny, pouty jerk, he's not even going to be able to hang in the ring with Evan Golden. Now, look, I know the talent that he brings to the squared circle, but go this Saturday. Rabbit, go. Just come to the show. Go and ask RT3 for a picture. Ask him for an autograph. You won't get one because he's going to be in too bad of a mood because he lost to me and he couldn't become the inaugural Beside the Ring Wrestling Champion. You are looking at Evan Golden, the man who, when you see him next, is going to have 3 straps right here over his shoulders because RT3 just couldn't cut it, and he couldn't withstand the afterburner.
Evan Golden, Casey Kazana just came back in, and he said, just another title I can take away from Evan. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, my thoughts are simple. When I win the Beside the Ring Wrestling Championship, the Beside the Ring Wrestling Championship, I will be locking it in a case because, KC, I am sick and tired of you being on my back and sniffing after everything I've got. So, KC, I'll have you this word. You won't be able to even look at this title because I'm not even going to have it around you because you're a backstabber and all you want to do is take me on in the ring and take what's mine. Well, guess what? You're never going to have this. You are never going to have the Beside the Ring Wrestling Championship when I win it this Saturday. And you know what, KC? I think I'm going to file a restraining order. Rabbit, will you help me file a restraining order against KC?
I'll do my best, sir, but it's between you and Casey Kazana. But if you're going to meet him in the ring, you can't file it until after you meet him in the ring, sir. You already accepted the challenge right here, anytime, any place against him. Now we got to see it come to fruition. Now, Mr. Golden.
September 29th, Overdrive, Casey Kazana. If I retain this title, which I will be filing a restraining order against you.
Mr. Kazana says you sound like a jealous girlfriend, Evan Golden.
No, I'm not. No, I am not. I'm fine. Not jealous.
Fine, freaked out, irrational, neurotic, and definitely out of shape. Come on, buddy. You got to be better than just fine to beat a Kazana. We know that.
Wow. Wow. Yeah.
I have to say it. I have to be on both sides here. I have to tell you. I have to tell you to your face, Evan. Sometimes you do act like a jealous girlfriend, but I'm your friend. I'm your real friend. I can say it to you.
You would never stab me in the back. And that's what makes me happy to be on the show.
I'll at least say it to your face, Mr. Golden.
Well, look, I'm going to say this right now. I understand that Casey Kazan is absolutely a worthy competitor. But I want to tell you right now something that I should have told him when I trusted him, but I'm never going to be able to say this to his face again. Rabbid, you are the bestest friend that I've ever had.
I appreciate that, sir, but I don't think I'm as good of a friend as Michael Gabriel has ever been to you. I thank you for that great compliment, Mr. Golden. We're just about out of time for today. So I've got to get the next bookings from you. Where are you going to be at? Besides August 31st, where are the places you're going to be this coming month?
Well, Evan Golden will be returning to Premier Wrestling League. We have a couple of big shows coming up. Actually, we have tons of shows coming up next month. Evan Golden, Premier Wrestling League, we're going to be there the 26th and the 27th of September. And on the 27th, there's actually 2 shows in Kimball, West Virginia, and another one, Mullins, West Virginia. I can't remember these dates and times because I don't care to go into West Virginia very much because I don't want to look like them or smell like them.
But God's country.
Yeah, well, look, I don't like the look of it, but you know what? We do have titles there, so I will be back at both Premier Wrestling League and American Pro Wrestling West Virginia with Michael Gabriel next month. I will be releasing more of the dates specifically on Facebook and Instagram and whatnot. Now, this Thursday, Michael Gabriel and myself, we will be making our NWA Crossfire debut. We're going to be at the Sevier County Fair. There's nothing more old school than watching NWA Territory Wrestling at the fair, Rabbid, at the fair. So get you a funnel cake like all of you imbeciles do, all you out of shape morons do, eating funnel cake while watching me be a star. Come do it this Thursday. Me and Michael Gabriel are going to sweep the floor with Rabbit and Jamal.
Wow. Strong words coming from Mr. Golden. Mr. Golden, before we let you go, Casey Kazana said one last thing. He said, after we win the NWA US tag belts at NWA 76, maybe we will go you and your partner a shot. Give you and your partner a shot.
Casey Kazana, I want you to know one thing. Those titles, one day, somehow, some way, will be over our shoulders. And I'll hold you to your word for that.
All right, guys, I believe that's going to conduct our business here today. Before we go, be sure to check out the all-new School of Morton that's going to be coming your way Sundays, 5:05 directly. And you can check out none other than the Golden Child himself, Evan Golden, right there. Casey Kazana will be a part of that as well. You can definitely check out their YouTube channel at Ricky Morton and follow them on Facebook at SOM505 and go to a live event. See the Golden Child, Evan Golden, in action. And remember, you guys heard it here first. Thank you so much, Mr. Golden, for being here today, and I hope to have you back on soon.
You got it, buddy.
All right, bye-bye.
See you, man.